So about Chris Brown, the Brown album. Uh, the acronym he gave for Brown was "Break Rules Only When Necessary." Corny. I've been a long time Chris Brown fan. I went to the last two tours, and let me tell you something. I go see him every time he's around town. I go see him every time he's on tour. Like I go see him. Like I'm a huge fan, right? So I have like an honest perspective of Chris. First of all, his audience is I'm 29, so his audience is we grown now. His audience is his base, his view, people keeping up with him. We are in our 30s, babe. We are around his age. I would say mid to late 20s, mid 20s to 30s. We are your money spenders. We are your fan base, bro. You don't have too many 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 16-year-olds listening to your shit no more. Get that out of your head. I think you really think he got Gen Z and Alpha, and he just doesn't. A lot of them just don't respect him and just don't listen to him. And honestly, some of them just don't see his music as being valuable. And shit, I can't blame them because over the last few years, it hasn't been the best. The best we got since Fame was 1111, and he won a Grammy off of that. When his albums are actually cohesive, they make sense. The production is there, the vocals are there, the lyricism is there. He wins a Grammy. Like he deserved the Grammy for Fame. You know, fans are my everything. Forgive all my enemies. That was the acronym. That was dope. Brown wasn't an acronym. It was just Brown. And it was corny. The album wasn't the best. Now, people saying it was trash, da 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 da. It's about 14 songs on that 27 track album that's actually decent. And they're not songs that I would want to see him perform in a stadium. Like if you ever been to a Chris Brown show, you know that Chris Brown is a great entertainer when he's constantly dancing and singing, but more so dancing. But when he starts to slow down and maybe a slow song, there's a disconnect. And that disconnect comes from, I believe, is that his disconnect from himself. I think Chris is numb to a lot. And with that type of life and that type of lifestyle, I think it gets to a lot of people. And I think over the past 20 years, he's dealt with the same burden on his back and he's not been able to get that burden off his back. And people keep punishing him left and right for it. And then it's like the industry stuff, kind of like the people that be breaking in his house. Weird shit happens to him behind the scenes too. So it's like he gets it from all different directions. And I think that would give way on anybody. That would take on anybody. And he's chosen the route that he's chosen. He's chosen to have the lifestyle that he's chosen. And it looks like someone in real time choosing to sabotage what they've built and at the same time be able to go to work and be like, I'm the greatest. Well, you have to live like you are. Yeah, that has to be in your character. That has to be in your aura. That has to be in your soul. It's not just something off your ego and your pride and numbness. Brown was an album that I could tell AI was used a little bit. The features were trash. And most of the songs were obviously mature and sexual in nature. And one of the questions I came back thinking from after listening to the album was, who is he talking to? Each song. Who are you talking to? You're not in love with nobody. You have too many women. You're not talking to one woman. Who are you talking to? What are you talking about? Like he has no aim. He has no really real audience, there isn't anything that makes him attached to his life, seemingly. It's this disconnect where it's like, bro, I hear what you're saying, but you're not saying nothing. His music, what is his music about? He was supposed to have a thriller. This was supposed to be his thriller, his Sasha Fierce, this was supposed to be his album, his classic, his confessions, and it just wasn't that. It just was not that. But I also think that the album was definitely music that Chris likes. Chris put out what Chris wants to listen to and hear from Chris, which falls flat for most artists, and it fell flat for him, and he just doesn't want to accept that shit. People are telling him, yo, your music is the same, and quite literally it is. And people are not lying. He should definitely listen. And he was offended. He felt he was hurt. His pride was hit, but he's already made it a point to not care, so just let him not care. And the numbers always show it. You just came off of 2 world tours, And this Brown album did 65K. That is not good for an artist who just came off of 2 world tours and won a Grammy off of one of their recent albums. That's quite awful. So he just has to feel again. He need to feel again. And all these other things, we can want for people a lot of things, but I think Chris has decided that this is what he's gonna do and this is what he's gonna get the people, and the people are like, eh. But what I will say in totality is that, bro, people are going to constantly reject him, deny him, and call his shit out to the table, and rightfully so. He's chosen not to listen, so people gonna make you listen. And so what that means is people are gonna start talking sooner than later, and people gonna pull out them skeletons out the closet, and he's gonna be butthurt. How do I know? It's because Chris likes people to think he's a good guy and perform as a good guy, but behind the scenes be the worst guy ever, and nobody else find out, nobody else know about it. And that's hence why he sued the company that the network who put out that documentary about him, and all his past transgressions, with his relationships and women and drugs. And he tried to sue the company, and of course the judge was like, get that shit out of here. It went nowhere. It flopped. You want to sue for $100 million for people putting out the truth about you, but you don't want to face the truth about you. You don't face it in the music. You don't talk about it in the interviews. You just don't deal with it. And people have chosen to say, since you're not going to deal with it, we're not going to deal with it. We don't have to people don't have to put up with his attitude, with his character. His character hasn't been shown that he's a guy that's deserving of all the accolades and the titles and to be put on the pedestal like we're going to ride or die for you. It's some artists that we ride or die for, and there are some artists where it's like, oh, no. We're gonna stick beside him until we see some more evidence. Chris doesn't have those, he doesn't have the benefit of the doubt no more. That's gone, that's done. This album shows that. This album shows that I'm doing whatever I want. I'm not really paying attention to it. Y'all gonna get what I give y'all. Y'all gonna be happy with it. Y'all gonna show up on tour. The people that like it gonna be there. The people that don't, not gonna be there. Well, the numbers show it. And that album came and it went. Usually there's like dances all on TikTok. There's nothing going. It's not busting. It's not popping. It's not doing nothing. It's not doing nothing, gang. It's not doing nothing. And I'm just like, ooh, you too deep in your career for a flop. This was a flop. So whether he likes it or not, clearly he doesn't. But it's a lot of truths about to be told, and I think this tour is going to be somewhat of a disaster. I think a lot of people are going to complain. I think a lot of people are going to tell the truth. And I'm not just talking about fans. I'm talking about people that's close up and close in circles. Everybody about to start running their mouth. I think this new era Chris is going into, unbeknownst to himself, is going to be one he's going to remember and might spin him all the way out of control. Brown, all in all, was definitely a 2.5 out of 5. I don't know what that album was. Like I said, it's 13 songs that's actually solid off of that thing, but nothing I would replay. And the thing about Chris' entire discography, with the exceptions to like 1 or 2 albums, like Fame, like Fortune, like 1111, are not replayable, bro. He doesn't have really any replayable albums that you could put on at a wedding, at a dance, at a party, anytime, any place. He just doesn't have that. And this album proves that he's not working towards that. He doesn't care to give that and put that effort into it. This album was definitely lazy. And I want to see better and more from him. But if he doesn't want it for himself, we can't make him want it. And that's my take on Brown.